Dr. Maya Chen stood before the Galactic Council of Xenobiological Studies, trying not to fidget as 12 pairs of compound eyes, sensory stalks, and various alien visual organs focused intently on her. The presentation chamber of the Arcturus Science Station hummed with anticipation, its crystalline walls reflecting the soft blue light of distant stars. "Distinguished colleagues," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves, "I stand before you today to challenge everything you think you know about apex predators." Behind her, the holographic display showed only a black screen, building suspense. Ambassador Zyxtal of the Centaurian Empire leaned forward, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the light. "Dr. Chen, we've reviewed extensively the specifications you sent ahead. Surely there must be some error in the data. These hyenas you speak of are barely larger than a Martian house pet." A ripple of agreement passed through the assembled aliens. Maya allowed herself a small smile. This was exactly the reaction she'd been counting on. With a gesture, she activated the first hologram, a life-sized projection of a spotted hyena pack bringing down an African buffalo. The chamber filled with the sounds of the hunt, the hyenas' haunting calls echoing off the walls. What you're witnessing, esteemed colleagues, is not just a hunt. It's a demonstration of Earth's evolutionary arms race at its finest. Maya walked through the hologram, pointing out details as the scene unfolded. Notice the jaw structure. A spotted hyena's bite force measures at 1,100 pounds per square inch, strong enough to crush elephant bones. Zyxtal's assistant dropped her data tablet with a clatter. The sound was nearly drowned out by the collective gasp from the assembly as the hologram showed a hyena's jaws pulverizing a femur larger than Maya's arm. But physical strength is just the beginning, Maya continued, warming to her subject. These creatures possess social structures more complex than many sentient species. They live in matriarchal clans of up to 80 individuals, with hierarchies that would rival any political system in the galaxy. The next hologram showed a three-dimensional map of a hyena clan's territory, complete with hunting patterns and communication networks. They coordinate their hunts with sophisticated vocal communications, calls that can be heard up to 5 kilometers away. Each hyena has a unique voice print, allowing them to recognize individuals and coordinate complex hunting strategies. Ambassador Thrix of the Rigelian Confederation raised a tentacle. "Dr. Chen, are we to understand that these creatures deliberately plan their attacks? Surely you're not suggesting intelligence?" "That's exactly what I'm suggesting, Ambassador." Maya brought up the next display, neural scans comparing hyena problem-solving capabilities to other Earth predators. They've been observed using diversion tactics, setting up ambushes, and even teaching hunting strategies to their young. In one documented case, a clan figured out how to disable our research station's security sensors by exploiting a pattern in the motion detection system. The chamber erupted in murmurs. Maya could see the various alien species communicating rapidly in their native languages, their universal translators struggling to keep up with the technical jargon they were exchanging. But most importantly, Maya said, her voice cutting through the chatter, these animals represent something unique in the galaxy, the perfect balance between physical adaptation and behavioral evolution. They're not the biggest, the fastest, or even the strongest. They've survived and thrived because they've developed something far more valuable, efficiency. The final hologram showed a time-lapse of a hyena clan's territory over a year, illustrating their impact on the ecosystem. In their native habitat, spotted hyenas have a hunting success rate of up to 95%. For comparison, Earth's lions, which many consider the kings of the African savanna, only succeed about 30% of the time. Ambassador Zyxtal's crystalline form had taken on a distinctly pale hue. "Dr. Chen, you mean to tell us that on your world, these bone-crushing social hunters are considered a minor predator?" Maya's smile widened. "Oh, Ambassador, wait until you see what I have prepared about our honey badgers." The conference chamber's lighting shifted to a deep amber as Maya activated the next phase of her presentation. The holographic display now showed the African savanna at dusk, with long shadows stretching across the grassland. A clan of hyenas emerged from their den, moving with purpose in the fading light. "What you're about to witness," Maya announced, her voice dropping to match the hushed atmosphere, "is something that has never been properly documented until our team's recent breakthrough in nocturnal observation technology." Ambassador Thrix's tentacles curled with interest. "Your previous footage was unsettling enough, Dr. Chen. What could possibly warrant such dramatic introduction?" Maya gestured to her research partner in the observation booth. "Dr. Patel, would you please activate the neural network overlay?" The hologram shimmered, and suddenly the scene was overlaid with glowing lines connecting each hyena, creating a complex web of interactions that pulsed with different colors. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored beings of all configurations," Maya continued, "you're watching the first real-time visualization of hyena pack consciousness. These aren't just animals hunting together, they're participating in what we call distributed intelligence." The assembled aliens leaned forward as one of the hyenas, marked with a red glow, moved to a slightly elevated position. The neural web connecting it to the others intensified. "That's our subject Alpha 7, whom we've nicknamed Sage," Maya explained. "Watch what happens when she initiates a hunt sequence." The red-marked hyena lifted her head and released a series of complex vocalizations. Instantly, the neural web blazed with activity. Ambassador Zwexdal's crystalline form refracted light in patterns that indicated extreme agitation. "Those patterns, they're remarkably similar to our own military tactical networks." "Precisely," Maya said, allowing herself a satisfied smile. "Each hyena doesn't just know its role, it understands the entire hunting strategy. They can seamlessly swap positions, adapt to changing circumstances, and even improvise new tactics on the fly. Watch this." The hologram showed the hyena clan splitting into 3 distinct groups, each taking different approaches to what appeared to be a herd of wildebeest. The neural overlay revealed constant communication between the groups, adjusting their positions with mathematical precision. "In the past, we assumed this level of coordination was purely instinctive," Maya continued. "But our research has revealed something far more sophisticated. These animals are running complex probability calculations, accounting for wind direction, terrain variables, and even the psychological tendencies of their prey." Dr. Zanvir, the Syrian quantum biologist, raised all 4 of their hands. "Dr. Chen, are you suggesting these creatures possess some form of collective consciousness?" Maya's eyes lit up. "Even better, Dr. Zanvir. We believe they've evolved a form of quantum entanglement in their neural networks. Each hyena maintains a constant quantum state connection with its packmates, allowing for instantaneous tactical updates across distances that should make such coordination impossible." The chamber erupted in excited chittering and bioluminescent flashes as the various alien species processed this information. The hologram continued to show the hunt unfolding, with the hyenas executing their strategy with devastating effectiveness. "But here's what truly sets them apart," Maya said, her voice cutting through the chaos. "Unlike most pack hunters, hyenas can dynamically reorganize their social structure based on the demands of their environment." She gestured, and the neural web display shifted to show historical data. "When resources are scarce, they can split into smaller, more efficient hunting groups. When facing larger prey or competition, they can merge multiple clans into super packs, sharing intelligence and resources across previously territorial boundaries." Ambassador Thrix's tentacles had turned a pale shade of azure, a sign of deep contemplation among their species. "Dr. Chen, correct me if I'm wrong, but this level of social adaptation, it's reminiscent of early civilization development patterns." "Your observation is spot on, Ambassador," Maya replied, bringing up a new set of comparative data. "In fact, we've documented cases of hyena clans developing what can only be described as cultural traditions, specific hunting techniques and social behaviors passed down through generations through active teaching, not just instinct." The hologram shifted to show a group of hyena cubs being systematically instructed by adults in the art of bone crushing. The neural overlay revealed complex patterns of information transfer, with the adults adjusting their teaching methods based on each cub's responses. "What you're seeing isn't just animal behavior," Maya explained, her voice filled with barely contained excitement. "It's the emergence of something that challenges our very definition of intelligence. These creatures have developed a social structure that combines the efficiency of a hive mind with the adaptability of individual consciousness." As if to emphasize her point, the hologram showed the hunting party successfully bringing down their prey, with each hyena smoothly transitioning from hunter to member of a complex feeding hierarchy. The neural overlay showed the continuous flow of information, maintaining order in what could have been chaos. "And this, distinguished colleagues," Maya concluded, "is why Earth's predators are unique in the galaxy. It's not about size or raw strength. It's about the endless arms race between intelligence and adaptation. Our planet's history isn't just written in bones and fossils, it's encoded in the very neural networks of our survivors." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Then Ambassador Ziwexdal's voice cut through the quiet, carrying a note of worried realization. "Dr. Chen, if these are the hunting patterns of what you call a minor predator, what in the universe are your apex predators capable of?" Maya's smile turned enigmatic as she queued up her next set of data. "Well, Ambassador, have you ever heard of something called a killer whale?" Before Maya could begin her presentation on marine predators, a soft chime echoed through the chamber. Dr. Patel's voice came through the comm system, tight with barely contained excitement. "Dr. Chen, the field team reports the subjects are in position. We're ready for the live demonstration." A ripple of anticipation passed through the alien audience. Live demonstrations were rare at these conferences, too many variables, too much risk. But Maya had insisted. Some things had to be seen in real time to be believed. "Distinguished colleagues," she announced, "I invite you to join me in the observation deck. It's time to move from theory to practice." The chamber's crystalline walls became transparent, revealing that they were suspended above a massive enclosed habitat dome. Below, the African savanna had been meticulously recreated, down to the last blade of grass. Ambassador Ziwexdal's crystalline form flickered with concern. "Dr. Chen, surely you don't intend to show you a real hyena hunt?" "That's exactly what I intend." Maya gestured to a series of floating platforms that had detached from the chamber's edges. "These observation pods are equipped with our latest quantum dampening fields. We'll be completely invisible to the subjects while maintaining an optimal viewing distance." As the alien scientists settled into their pods, Maya noticed Dr. Zanvir consulting their data tablet with increasing agitation. "Dr. Chen, the Syrian quantum biologist, called out, these readings, the neural activity in the hyena clan is far more complex than what you showed us earlier." Maya nodded, allowing herself a small smile. "That's because this isn't just any hunt. We're about to witness something that challenges everything we thought we knew about predator intelligence." She activated a holographic overlay that displayed vital signs and neural patterns for each hyena in the clan below. "Meet Clan Epsilon, our most studied group. They're third-generation subjects, born and raised in this facility." The observation pods descended slowly toward the habitat dome. Through the quantum dampening field, they could see a group of 15 hyenas moving through the tall grass with practiced precision. But something was different about their behavior, their movements seemed almost calculated. 3 months ago, Maya continued, we introduced a new element to their environment. "Dr. Patel, would you please highlight subject Omega?" A red outline appeared around one of the larger hyenas. Its neural pattern was unlike anything they'd seen in the previous presentations, more complex, more structured. Almost engineered. Ambassador Kthriks's tentacles writhed with sudden understanding. "You've modified them." "Enhanced them," Maya corrected. "We discovered that hyena intelligence had far more potential than anyone realized. With some careful genetic tweaking and neural augmentation, we were able to unlock capabilities that were lying dormant in their DNA. The alien scientists watched in fascinated horror as the hyena clan began to execute maneuvers that seemed impossible for non-sentient creatures. They weren't just hunting, they were implementing strategic formations that would have made military tacticians proud. The most fascinating aspect, Maya explained, is that we only enhanced the matriarch. But through their quantum-entangled neural network, she's been able to uplift the entire clan's cognitive capabilities. They're learning, adapting, and evolving at an unprecedented rate. Suddenly, Dr. Patel's voice crackled through the comm again, this time with unmistakable alarm. Dr. Chen, we're detecting anomalies in the quantum dampening field. The clan's neural network, it's interfering with our systems somehow. Maya's smile faded as she checked her own readings. The hyenas below had stopped moving, all of them now focused intently on something in the distance. No, not something, they were staring directly at the observation pods. Impossible, Dr. Zanvir whispered. The dampening field should make us completely invisible to them. Unless, Maya realized with dawning comprehension, they've learned to detect the quantum field itself. She quickly accessed the habitat security protocols, but the display flickered and died. Below, Subject Omega lifted her head and let out a call unlike anything they'd heard before, not a hunting cry, but something far more deliberate. The entire clan moved as one, their neural network blazing with activity so intense it was beginning to interfere with the pod's levitation systems. Dr. Patel's voice came through in bursts of static. The clan, they're not just communicating, they're hacking systems. Ambassador Zewexdal's crystalline form had taken on a pale, almost translucent hue. The observation pods hung suspended in the increasingly unstable quantum field as alarms began to blare throughout the facility. Maya's mind raced through possibilities as she watched Subject Omega orchestrate what could only be described as a systematic assault on their security systems. Dr. Patel, she called into the comm, fighting to keep her voice steady, initiate protocol terminus. Authorization Chen Alpha 79. Static crackled before his response came through, unable to comply, Dr. Chen. They've locked us out of the primary systems. The neural interface is generating quantum interference patterns we've never seen before. Below, the hyena clan had arranged themselves in a precise geometric formation. Their neural network was now visible to the naked eye, threads of blue-white energy arcing between them, creating a living lattice of consciousness that pulsed with increasing intensity. Ambassador Thrix's tentacles had coiled tightly against their body, a sign of extreme stress in their species. Dr. Chen, correct me if I'm wrong, but your presentation mentioned nothing about the subjects developing energy manipulation capabilities. That's because they didn't have them until now, Maya replied, her scientific curiosity warring with her survival instinct. She pulled up a detailed scan of the energy pattern. They're not just communicating anymore, they're using their quantum-entangled neural network to create a coherent energy field. It's like, they've turned their collective consciousness into a computer. Dr. Zanvir floated closer in their pod, all four hands working furiously across multiple holographic displays. These readings are extraordinary. The quantum field they're generating, it's not just interfering with our systems. It's rewriting them. They're not just learning technology, they're evolving beyond it. A sharp crack echoed through the dome as the first containment field failed. The hyenas hadn't moved from their formation, but their influence was spreading. One by one, the facility's security measures were being systematically dismantled. Dr. Chen, Ambassador Zewexdal's voice carried an edge of panic, please tell me you have some form of contingency for this scenario. Maya watched as Subject Omega turned her gaze directly toward them again. The hyena's eyes now held an unmistakable gleam of intelligence, not just animal cunning, but something approaching consciousness. And in that moment, Maya understood. They're not trying to escape, she announced, causing the alien observers to turn to her in confusion. Look at their formation, if they wanted to break out, they would have done it already. They're trying to communicate. Dr. Patel's voice came through clearer now, Maya, you can't be serious. These are still predators, no matter how enhanced they've become. Yes, they are predators, Maya agreed, her fingers flying across her control panel. But they're predators that we've given the ability to think, to reason, to understand. And right now, they're showing us exactly what Earth's evolution has always been about, adaptation. She opened a channel directly to Subject Omega's neural implant. It was a risk, but at this point, their options were limited. The hyena's ears perked forward, and the energy field surrounding the clan shifted, becoming less aggressive and more inquisitive. Distinguished colleagues, Maya addressed the assembled scientists, what you're witnessing isn't just a security breach. It's first contact. These creatures have used our enhancement to catalyze their own evolutionary leap. They're not just thinking, they're thinking about thinking. The alien observers watched in stunned silence as Maya began to establish a rudimentary communication protocol with the hyena clan. The neural network responded, adjusting its frequency to match their systems, no longer seeking to override them but to interface with them. Remarkable, Dr. Zanvier breathed, their bioluminescence pulsing with excitement. They're not just demonstrating intelligence, they're showing wisdom. They could have used their capabilities to escape or attack, but instead, they chose to prove they were worth talking to, Maya finished. The energy field had stabilized now, creating a bridge between the observation pods and the clan below. Through it, they could sense not hostility, but an overwhelming curiosity, a desire to understand and be understood. Ambassador Thrix uncoiled slightly, their color returning to normal. Dr. Chen, are you suggesting that in attempting to study Earth's predators, we've accidentally created a new form of sentient life? Maya watched as Subject Omega sat down, maintaining eye contact, her clan adjusting their positions to maintain the neural network while adopting a clearly non-threatening posture. No, Ambassador, she replied softly. I'm suggesting that we've finally learned to recognize a form of sentience that was emerging all along. We didn't create this, we just gave them the tools to show us what they were already becoming. The facility's alarms gradually fell silent as the hyena clan's neural network synchronized with their systems, creating a stable quantum field that encompassed both human technology and hyena consciousness. In that moment, the line between observer and subject, between predator and scientist, began to blur. And in the midst of it all, Subject Omega did something that would change the course of xenobiological studies forever. She waited patiently for them to catch up to what she had already figured out, that the most dangerous predator was not the one with the strongest jaws or the sharpest claws, but the one that could learn to see beyond the hunt. 1 week after the breakthrough, the Arcturus Science Station's main conference chamber had been transformed. Where there had once been rows of rigid seating, now there was a circular arrangement of platforms arranged at various heights to accommodate both the alien scientists and their newest participants, Clan Epsilon. Maya stood at the center, Subject Omega seated calmly beside her. The hyena's neural implant had been refined, now sporting a sleek interface that pulsed softly with the same blue-white energy that connected her to her clan. The other hyenas were positioned around the chamber's perimeter, their collective neural network creating a stable field that facilitated communication between all species present. Distinguished colleagues, Maya began, 1 week ago, we gathered here to discuss Earth's predators. Today, we're here to redefine our understanding of consciousness itself. She gestured to the holographic displays showing the rapid development of the clan's neural capabilities. What we've witnessed isn't just an evolutionary leap, it's a window into the very nature of intelligence. Ambassador Zyx Tao, who had initially been the most skeptical, now leaned forward with interest. Dr. Chen, the data from your ongoing communications with Clan Epsilon is unprecedented. Their grasp of quantum mechanics alone is beyond what we thought possible, Maya finished. But that's because we were asking the wrong questions. We weren't just studying predators, we were studying the evolutionary pressure that created them. She turned to Omega, who nodded slightly. Would you like to explain it to them yourself? The hyena's thoughts filtered through the neural interface, translated into a clear, measured voice that carried both wisdom and a hint of amusement. Your mistake, Omega communicated, was assuming that hunting was just about food. Every chase, every kill, every social interaction, they're all problems to be solved. Evolution doesn't just select for strength, it selects for problem solvers. The alien scientists murmured in amazement. Dr. Zanvier's bioluminescence pulsed rapidly as they processed the implications. The quantum neural network, it wasn't an enhancement at all, was it? It was an expression of something that already existed in potential. Correct, Omega confirmed. The network you gave us didn't create our capabilities, it merely allowed us to express what generations of evolution had already written into our DNA. Every time our ancestors coordinated a hunt, every time they adapted to new challenges, they were developing the foundations of quantum consciousness. Maya pulled up new data, showing the rapid changes in the clan's neural architecture over the past week. What we're seeing is not just the development of intelligence, but the emergence of a new form of consciousness, one that bridges the gap between individual and collective thinking. The chamber's displays shifted to show recordings of the clan's recent activities. They had begun teaching themselves new skills at an exponential rate, but more importantly, they were teaching each other. The neural network had evolved from a simple communication system into a living library of shared experience and knowledge. Ambassador Thrix's tentacles moved in complex patterns of fascination. But the implications for galactic science, if Earth's predators evolved this potential through natural selection. Then we have to reconsider everything we thought we knew about evolution, Maya completed. The pressure to survive doesn't just drive physical adaptation, it drives the development of problem-solving capabilities. And sometimes, those capabilities lie dormant until the right circumstances allow them to emerge. Omega stood, her movement graceful and deliberate. The neural network shifted with her, and suddenly the chamber was filled with a three-dimensional representation of Earth's evolutionary history, not just a timeline of physical changes, but a flowing web of developing consciousness and capability. Your worlds evolved in relative stability, Omega communicated. Earth is different. Every predator, every prey species, has been shaped by constant challenge and change. We don't just adapt our bodies, we adapt our minds, our social structures, our very way of thinking. Dr. Patel, who had joined them on the chamber floor, added, what we're learning from Clan Epsilon isn't just changing our understanding of Earth's predators. It's changing our understanding of consciousness itself. The line between instinct and intelligence, between individual and collective thinking, it's far more fluid than we ever imagined. Maya watched as Omega moved to the center of the chamber, her clan responding with subtle shifts in position that maintained perfect equilibrium in their neural field. But perhaps the most important lesson, the hyena conveyed, is about cooperation. We could have used our new capabilities to escape, to dominate. Instead, we chose to communicate, to understand. Because that, too, is something evolution has taught us, the greatest survival advantage isn't in conquering, but in connecting. The alien scientists sat in thoughtful silence, absorbing the profound implications of what they were witnessing. Finally, Ambassador Zyxtal spoke, their crystalline form reflecting the subtle patterns of the neural network. Dr. Chen, when you first proposed this presentation on Earth's predators, we expected to learn about physical adaptations and hunting strategies. Instead, you've shown us something far more valuable, a new understanding of consciousness itself. Maya smiled, reaching down to rest her hand gently on Omega's head, a gesture that would have been unthinkable just a week ago. That's the thing about Earth's evolution, Ambassador. It's never just about the physical adaptations. Every species on our planet carries within it the potential for transformation. Sometimes, all it takes is the right moment, the right circumstances, for that potential to emerge. As if to emphasize her point, the neural network pulsed once more, and in that pulse, every being in the chamber, human, alien, and hyena alike, felt a moment of profound connection. In that instant, they understood that they weren't just witnessing the evolution of a species, they were witnessing the evolution of possibility itself.